everybody, and welcome back to another video. And if you're here for the very first time, it's lovely to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we've no debt and we've paid off the mortgage. And we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Sunday we share an aspect of our private life and the things that we personally do to save money. And today we want to talk about the cost of electricity and everything that we do personally to save money on electricity. I want to talk about energy prices in general, and I'm going to look at energy prices in the USA, electricity prices in the USA, I must reiterate, energy prices, electricity in the UK, and electricity prices on average here in the European Union. Let's start with the USA. I went to a price comparison site called electricchoice.com, an American website, and looked at average prices state by state. The most expensive that I saw from that website was Hawaii at 33 cents per kilowatt hour. And on average, because they were giving average prices, the lowest prices were Washington State and Arkansas at approximately 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And if we compare that with euro prices, if I was paying that with my currency, I would be paying 16 European cents per kilowatt hour. Then if we look at the UK, so the UK are paying the equivalent of 31 cents, that's in euros, my currency, per kilowatt hour. The most expensive electricity I could find in Europe was the Netherlands, Holland, at 48 cents per kilowatt hour. But on average, the German price was average across the European Union at 26 cents per kilowatt hour. So you can see the American average works out at 16 cents per kilowatt hour. And I know there's a huge range, isn't there, from Hawaii to Arkansas and all of those in between. But I'm talking about the average there. So the American average was 16 cents, and that's in my currency, not yours. And then the European average is around about 26 cents per kilowatt hour. So you can see the Europeans are on average paying more than Americans. Some paying a lot more. Some Americans are paying a lot more than some Americans. It's difficult to do this. But let's get down to the French prices now. The average French consumer is on a standard tariff here with EDF, and EDF, Electricité de France, is owned by the government. They are the majority holder of the electricity market. Most people buy their electricity from Electricité de France. And in the daytime, they pay 24 cents per kilowatt hour. And at night time, they pay 18 cents per kilowatt hour. And here we have large 200-litre water tanks, if not bigger, and we heat our water overnight on a cheaper rate. That's about 52 US gallons. So you can see across Europe, we're paying more than people on average across the USA. And we can thank for that, can't we? Oh, bless me, I'm going to sneeze here. Sorry about that. And we can obviously blame, things that are going on in Europe at the moment, things that are, current for those high energy prices at the moment. However, I must reiterate through my research that energy prices in the European Union and the UK have always been higher than energy prices in the USA, where you have your own energy market. Sorry, Australia and New Zealand, or anyone else in the world, I didn't get round to research about your energy prices. So let's start with that point. What are energy prices like in Europe? They're high. They are high. There's the proof for you. They are high. Let's get on to what we are doing personally to keep our energy prices as low as possible. So let's talk about my electricity bill, my mechanised electricity bill, and what we have done about it. We were for quite a long time on the standard French tariff called Tariff Blue, and our prices were 24 cents per kilowatt hour all day long. So we used to make the most of the 18 cents kilowatt hours in the night time. We used to heat our water, we used to run our washing machine, and we would run our dishwasher in that night time. And French washing machines and French dishwashers come with timers built into them. So we used to do that. And then the energy prices crept up and up and up and up. And soon, very soon, our electricity prices, we were paying 137 euros a month. And that was even with being extraordinarily conservative with our electricity usage. So we decided to go on a tariff called Tariff Tempo. So as I said, we changed to something called Tariff Tempo. And it's a bit confusing, hence why I'm sat here in the corner and you can see the visual of everything that's going on. It's divided into days of the year. So we have 300 days of the year where there is not a massive need for electricity across the country. The weather is warmer, the weather is, let's say, summertime, or it's always the weekend when the factories are not running or they're not running at full capacity. And we have 300 days a year. And we get really cheap electricity for that. We pay 13 cents per kilowatt hour in the daytime and just 10 cents per kilowatt hour at night time. And then we have 43 white days of the year. So the weather's starting to get a bit colder or it's a busy time of year. And we pay a little bit more then in those 43 days. We pay 16 cents per kilowatt hour in the daytime and 12 cents per kilowatt hour at the night time. So you imagine all year round we're going to run the expensive electrical equipment at night time. And then for 22 days of the year, we have to be really careful because those are the days when it's really cold in France and everybody who has all electric heating in their houses are just running it all the time, just to keep warm. That's what they're doing. So on those 22 days, it shoots up to 73 cents per kilowatt hour in the daytime and back down to the 13 cents per kilowatt hour at night time. Now, you think to yourself, well, how do you manage with that? Now we'll tell you about all the things that we do to cope with that because we feel it's worth coping with 22 days of absolute inconvenience to have 300 days of really cheap electricity. Let's show you some of the things that we do. We have the benefit of some supplementary solar with thanks to Allpowers who sent them to us and we're very, very grateful for them and they are extraordinarily useful. So we charge those up on a sunny day, but in the winter we can probably charge them up to about 30 to 40 at the very most percent capacity in the winter months because we just do not have enough light. But we can still benefit from those solar power packs even when we don't have the solar because we are only paying 13 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity at any night time and our nighttime rate runs from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So at 10 p.m. we charge them up again. We really don't need to use our daytime tariff at all. We really don't. So that's something that we do and it's a benefit to have and I'm sure, and we know because we are in plenty of solar forums on places like Facebook that lots and lots of people are doing this now to offset the cost of their expensive daytime electricity by charging those boxes up at night time. We'll now show you some examples of how we use those boxes in the daytime. Even when it's an expensive red day for us, I still want to carry on as normal in my sewing room. And I've got my portable Allpowers S2000 in my sewing room. I love this unit. I can just pick this one up and take it with me wherever I want. It's just a battery, you can plug everything in and use it. So everything is running. You can see there I have got an extension cord with everything plugged in it because nothing's really big use here. I can run my sewing machine, I can run my lights, and plugged in right now is my iron. It can run my main iron But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press all of my blocks open so I can get onto the next part of my quilt. And irons, believe it or not, are expensive to run. So if you've got an iron at home, always make sure you switch it off immediately. Don't leave it on. It really does draw a lot of electricity. So I'm going to get ironing. That's my ironing done. I ironed for 10 minutes. Let's check the box. And we can see here it was 77%. It's now down to 73%. I've used 5% of the box's capacity for doing the ironing. So you can see how power hungry irons are, and how having my solar power box here really does help me save money on these very, very expensive days. Here is our second Allpowers unit, a much bigger unit, and you can see we've got it on a trolley because it is a beast. It's a massive thing. It would nearly run our house if we needed it to. And I've got this set up in the daytime configuration. We use this day and night in our kitchen. If I wanted to, it would run the washing machine. It will certainly draw down the battery quite quickly if I have it on a hot wash, but I never do that anyway. I always wash on a cool wash, like 30 degrees, 40 at the most. And a 30-degree wash or a 40-degree wash certainly hardly makes any difference. And you can see I've got the cable running here, and that's running into the kitchen, and I'll show you what I run off that in the kitchen. So here is the lead, and this is what I run in the daytime. I run the coffee machine. You would be stunned how much energy your coffee machine is running. The other thing that I use in here on a day like today is my Kosori air fryer, and you know, it's drawing 1700 watts. I mean, fortunately, you can cook something in 20 minutes in it. But you know, it will run down the box relatively easily, not totally obviously, because it kind of surges at 1700 watts and then it comes back down again. Kind of heats itself up, keeps the fan going, drops down again. So, you know, they're great things to use if you're trying to save money on electricity. So that is how I configure things in here. If we wanted to, we could plug in the fridge freezer as well. But we find, you know with freezers as well, once they are frozen, they just kind of tick over and keep themselves cold. So there's something else that we do on these expensive days, and any day that we would use this in the summer as well, because don't forget, in the summertime, we're going solely solar. So now I've taken the S2000 into my living room, and I've set it up for our evening configuration. So the Allpowers box is running the TV, it's running the Wi-Fi, it's running the lamp, it's running the air purifier. So in the evenings, we're effectively running this living room off grid. We don't need to put on the main lighting at this time of day because it's obviously daytime when I'm filming it, and in the evening we just run lamps because we like the ambience. So there we go. So there it is again. It's nice and light. It's still at 72% after me using it in my sewing room, and it'll use about 20% of the box of the charge, the total charge in the evening. So if I wanted to, I wouldn't even really need to charge it every night. So there it is. Let's go in on a close-up. There it is, the S2000 set up for the evening, ready to run my living room. I thought I'd share with you our very controversial French Linky meter. When these were first installed, people were really, really unhappy about them. And the other part about the contract that we have, the low cost tariff that we have, you do have to have a smart meter to have one. And lots of people are unhappy about that for all their own reasons. And, you know, it's not for me to say whether they're right or whether they're wrong. It's based on opinion, isn't it? We really like ours because it sends live readings, obviously, off to EDF. and we get live readings on our computer and on the app on our phone. So we can really keep an eye on what we're using. And we use about €2.50 worth of electricity a day. So you can see all year round, all the time, we're really being quite thrifty with our electricity. And that's our Linky smart meter. Let's talk about the general ways that we save money on electricity. Let's start with cooking. We always prefer to use small devices instead of our main oven or our main electric cooker top that we call the hob, because those smaller devices are drawing less kilowatts. So I go for the Instant Pot, go for the air fryer, I'll use a mini oven. I will always go for those first. I also have the advantage of having a wood burning cooker, and I use that as well. I've also got the backup of a bottled gas cooker that we normally keep in our basement, and we keep that just in case of complete power outages and we just need something to use. And let's talk about laundry. I use the washing machine only when the clothes are dirty and they need it. I use the washing machine on as cool a wash as I can get away with. I only use washing up to 40 degrees centigrade, but mostly I'm washing them at 20 degrees centigrade. I rarely use the tumble dryer. Even in the winter on a blowy day or a dry day, I hang my washing outside. And if it rains for months on end, which it can do here in Northern Europe, I will dry my laundry in front of the fire. Then we talk about lighting. Every single light that we have in our house is LED lighting, which uses barely a fraction of energy. And then let's talk about heating. Our house is very well insulated with double glazed doors, double glazed windows, and it is solely heated by 2 wood burning stoves. And that air just permeates throughout the house, keeps it warm and keeps it dry. And because of the insulation, the house never ever drops below 18 degrees centigrade. And with the heating on, with the one stove in the living room, we can get the rest of the house up to a nice, comfortable 21 to 22 degrees centigrade. So those are the ways that generally we save money on electricity all throughout our house. If you've got this far in the video, thank you so much for sticking with us and watching. And this is the bit where I say to you, I do like to be reflective. If you want to save money in your house these days, you've got to put in the effort. You cannot just sit there passively saying, oh, things are expensive and just doing nothing about it. If you are prepared to, as we do here, use a very complicated tariff, we can get the benefit. If you are prepared to move your solar boxes about, put your solar panels out, you can save money. Even if you buy them yourselves, you will still save money. Throughout the summer months, you'll be running all the electric devices in your house for absolutely nothing. And that's our plan for the summer as well. They've had enough of my money for this big electricity bill. Summertime, I will just be running on solar. Now this is a bit I hand it over to you. What are you doing to save money on electricity? Would you use Tariff Tempo? Would you make yourselves an inconvenience for 22 days a year if you could save money and be deeply discounted for 300 days a year and discounted for 40 days a year? Would you be prepared to do it? Thanks for all your comments. We read every single one of them. Thanks for all your likes. Thanks to all subscribers, old and new, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.